Hey y'all, what's up? This is Rosie. I don't know if y'all checked out the community tab this week, but yesterday, which was Tuesday, my audio took a crap on me for some reason, and it took me 2 to 3 hours to fix it, but thankfully I got that squared away. It's fixed, and you get a video this week. But this one might be kind of short, but these are just two thoughts that I remembered, and I wanted to share these with y'all. One is the craziest thing I've ever heard. The other is one of the craziest things I've ever witnessed. So I'll go with the witness first because I was younger. I was around 7 or 8 years old, and I can't remember if I was on the front porch or upstairs watching from a bedroom window. So when I was 7 and 8 years old, my mom and I lived with her oldest sister and my 3 cousins in their apartment. And I was just like minding my own business, just looking out over the neighborhood and just lost in my thoughts. Suddenly I hear this wild screaming, just this really loud, wild screaming. And I hear sirens. The sirens didn't even faze me because in that part of the neighborhood, we heard sirens literally every day. Like every day we would see the fire trucks and everything, and it was just nothing new. But this particular day, something was going on. I look, and there is this man holding this poor woman by her neck. He's standing behind her, and I can't remember if he had a gun or a knife. I think he had a knife to her throat. I will never, ever forget the fear in this woman's eyes. And she was just yelling, crying, begging the police to help her because they were there. Suddenly, this police officer pulls his guns out. He's like, "Freeze! Drop the knife!" And the guy is just, he just looked wild. He looked possessed. That's just how bad he looked. I was so scared for this woman. And I didn't know if shots were going to ring out or what. But that poor woman, she just looked so scared. And they did help her. Ultimately, they did help her. But I'll just never, ever forget that. That was just, it was like something you would see in a bad B movie. At the time, sorry for that, but that was just a random thought. I think about that sometimes and wonder how she's doing, if they're still alive, and if she ever got away from him for good. So that was the craziest thing I ever witnessed. I needed to take a drink. Don't know if it'll help, but let's see. Here is the craziest thing I've ever heard. So I'm going to set the scene. This was on a Friday night at around dusk. And there were very few, if any, kids left outside. And if you know anything about us Gen Xers, I've talked about outside, and lots of Gen Xers talk about going outside. We all had to be in the house by the time the street lights came on. So I was outside still at dusk, and I was at the bottom of our steps, but my mom had the back door open, and she said that as long as she could see me, it was all right. So I just stayed where she could see me. The radio was on. We had a radio station at that time called Kicks 106. And almost everybody listened to that radio station. They played everything from rock to a little bit of the more mainstream hard rock to R&B and hip hop. Well, at this particular time, this might have been around 1988 or so, the song Wild Thing by Tone Loc was popular. So they played Wild Thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And I danced to it a little bit, sang along to the lyrics I knew. And when the song went off, I waited for them to play something else. But somebody called in to request that he play it again. So he did. And I was like, okay, hopefully it'll be a new song next time. After it ends the second time, someone else calls in and requests laughingly for him to play it again. And he does. And this kept on happening. People would keep calling in to request that he play it and let it roll. And they were egging this guy on. I'm thinking he got in trouble with his radio station because he locked the studio doors. I'm outside in disbelief, just listening to this go on, thinking, why are these people getting this man in trouble? I don't know if his mind snapped or what, but he was like, I got the studio doors locked, they're trying to get in, but I'm gonna let it roll, we're gonna play. And he was just like yelling it, and then he would play the song again. This went on for a good 30 minutes or so. By then, I think I made my way into the house, and I'm just listening to this. Finally, they get the doors open, and on the air, you hear this man wildly screaming and yelling, no, no, stop it, get out of here, stop it, no, no. And I was just flabbergasted because I was like, is this a skit? Is this even real? So I think dead air came on after that. I don't know. I don't even remember if anything else played on that station for the rest of the night. We might have given up and watched TV. I don't know because this was so long ago, but that was the wildest thing I'd ever heard. I just know that once I heard it, I was like, what did I just hear? What just happened? What was that even real? Sometimes I think about these two instances in my life, and it's hard to believe that it wasn't a dream because it was just that wild. It was almost like when I was in school and heard these people, security or coaches or something, called to the boys' gym. And then I found out later that day it was because one of the players of the football team and his girlfriend were caught in the boys' gym, and he was down on his knees in front of her, and that's all I'm going to say. But they got caught. And so for the rest of that school year, whenever they walked down the hall together, everybody side-eyed them. Nobody said anything, but they were definitely side-eyed. And there was another instance when I was in 12th grade. I was in 10th grade at that time. When I was in 12th grade, this was close to the end of the school year. And I was just sitting in the classroom, and somebody went to the girls' restroom. We didn't have to ask to go at that time because, like I said, it was almost the end of the year. It was almost graduation time, so we could just get up and walk out and then come back in. When that girl went into the girls' restroom, she quickly came back out laughing, and everybody was like wondering what was wrong. And she came into the middle of the class, and she kind of bent over in front of us to all of us to hear, and she said, "It's two girls in there, and one of them going down on the other one." And we were like, "Are you sure?" So a few of the girls went and tiptoed back to the girls' restroom with her, and they all looked up under, and sure enough, that's what was happening. And I think one of them kind of stopped it because they probably like banged on the door, "Hey, what y'all doing in there?" And yeah, so they like ran out of the girls' restroom giggling their butts off. And then we just all sat there and waited. Next thing you know, these two girls, instead of going down the other way, there actually might not have been an exit the other way, so they had to go down and out of the building in the only exit there was. and they rushed past the classroom, and the whole entire class was laughing at them, and they were so embarrassed. They were they were like mortified. And yeah, so these are some of the craziest things that I've ever witnessed. I didn't witness the two girls and everything. These were things that I just heard by word of mouth, the last two things. So yeah, and it's hard for me to believe that these weren't dreams. These are things that actually happened, and I got to see it. So what were some of the craziest things that you've ever heard or seen or witnessed, whether it was in person, on television, something that somebody else told you? Tell me about it down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Anyways, I am going to go. A wise man once said that you have to build your tribe one person at a time. If you would like to be a part of my tribe, hit that subscribe button. No matter what generation you are from, I will be so glad to have you. Thank you so much for wasting time with me. I love you guys so much. As usual, there is a donations link in the description box. If you would hit that, help support me and my channel, I would appreciate it more than you could ever possibly realize. Hope to see y'all on the next upload. Bye for now.